Millennials are the worst. They've killed the independent bookstore because all they do is buy the bestsellers on their Kindles. They've killed good music with their nonsensical EDM and their bling bling rap songs. Look at their Snapchat filters, fancy electric skateboards, and overpriced artisan salads. Look at these entitled, ungrateful little brats who don't know just how good they have it. I've never really identified as a millennial. The definition of the millennial generation is going to vary depending on who you ask. The Center for Generational Kinetics says it's people born between 1977 and 1995, whereas Metro UK says it's roughly the people born between the early 80s to the mid 90s. I'm right at the upper age range for how you might define this cohort, but I find that I identify more with people from Generation X than I do with people who were born in the 90s. Realistically, my generation was the last one to grow up without the internet and all kinds of technology. If anything, we grew up alongside the internet. I still remember getting my 33.6 modem when all my other friends were still trudging along at 14.4. But nowadays, I'm just as addicted to social media and my smartphone as your average 20-something. I'm just as addicted as kids these days. Kids these days. And that's the thing. We say that millennials are the worst right now, but it won't be long before we're saying the same thing about the generation that comes after them, and the one after that, and the one after that. Realistically, the sentiment really is that young people are the worst. I'm sure that parents of the hippie generation didn't exactly approve of their groovy lifestyle choices either, just as much as parents probably didn't approve of their kids swinging their hips like Elvis. Or in my case, listening to 90s gangster rap and getting all violent with Mortal Kombat. And absolutely, millennials have their share of struggles too. This is a generation that is struggling the most with overwhelming crazy student debt and underemployment. They're the generation that has the greatest pressure to complete a college or university degree, even though the job prospects and average wage aren't keeping up with the cost of living, particularly in terms of education and housing. You see, millennials really aren't so bad. If anything, I find that this generation is among the most ambitious and entrepreneurially minded. They've got more tools at their arsenal to be able to pursue those kinds of ambitions, like YouTube and Kickstarter and Patreon. Some of you might call them liberal snowflakes, but they're also among the most open and accepting and inclusive. And no matter the era, the sentiment remains the same. Young people are the worst. Kids these days have it way too easy, and back in my day we had to trudge 20 miles in the snow barefoot uphill both ways to get to school. You guys have it way too easy. Get off my lawn. Until next time, I'm Michael Kwan. Stay awesome, Gotham.